The Bitcoin dump has continued in this market, but I'm still not worried about it. If you watched my last video, shout out to those of you who are hitting up the likes and subscribing to this YouTube channel, you're going to remember that I was outlining one or two key levels in this market right here as support, 43,000 and 42,000, and we managed to actually hold above this green line even though the market kept dipping lower, which is what we were expecting in the short term right here. But you know what? I'm not even too worried about this even now, right? I do want to talk about how low this thing can drop if it continues to drop, but one of the big things I want to draw your attention to right here with these ads on screen, I know I need an ad blocker, but I don't run ad blockers, is that the fear and greed index dipped. And if you were paying close attention to the last video, I was saying yesterday we were at 48. I was saying that if this drops anywhere to 35 or below, I'm going to start turning really bullish. And this is something that I think people just aren't taking into consideration. You know, one of the things I want to remind you guys about from a psychological perspective, because trading is majority just a psychological battle, I feel anyway. It's very hard from the psychological standpoint. You know, obviously, if you've rallied up a little bit within an existing huge downtrend, you know, as soon as the market starts seeing a little bit of selling pressure again, people are going to get really scared really quickly, right? And again, the fear and greed index is just the best way to display this, because you can see how quickly it drops off right here over the past couple of days, from the 5th of April to today, the 7th of April. You know, I mean, this is basically right before this dump happened right here. If I move us onto a smaller time frame, we can see this a little bit better. You know, the fear and greed index, when the market was trading around in this range, was giving us readings in bang on neutral territory, 52, 53, completely neutral territory. People were just not that worried and so on. But as soon as these dumps start coming in, guys, we're at support levels. I just want to remind you guys about that. Yesterday we were at support levels. Today we're at support levels, right? It's really not that bad in my opinion, but look at that fear and greed index dropping hard. That to me is a sign of people just losing faith. And naturally when that happens, you know, obviously generally the markets tend to do the opposite, and that's why I'm still looking at where we might be able to find support on. And obviously, you know, if this thing does find support, things can get really exciting again, because if we do start to see a bounce from here, well then we're looking at a pullback, right? And we're looking at quite a significant pullback at that. Let's just throw an Fibonacci retracement on here. We've just bounced off the 0.5 line if we draw it from this low on the 14th of March, but if we draw it from this low, we've dropped down to the 382 support, and to our absolute low, yeah, we're still roughly around that 0.382 Fibonacci level. And I think that's quite significant, because these Fibonacci levels, they do generally predict where the market's going to bounce. And so if we fall down to that 382 level, as I've just shown you on this chart right here, I know it's hard to see, but let me draw this on a different chart actually, because it is, you know, it's probably quite difficult to understand what I'm trying to say over here. You know, if we draw this Fibonacci retracement like this, you know, generally, you know, the market is going to retrace down to these 382 or 618 levels. Obviously 618 is quite far away, but 382 I think makes a lot of sense. And I mean, it's bang on perfect if you draw it from this low as well. I don't think it's sensible to draw it from this low. I would either choose this low or this low right here, and the reasons are somewhat complex, but that's all been broken down inside of VIP. And guys, I just wanted to show you this. I put this, one of my team members put this picture together for this recent profit that I made on Ethereum. It's quite an impressive little screenshot right here. It just shows every little amendment that I made to the trade, where I entered right here at the bottom. I know you can't read the price, but it says 2,829. And then just each of the points where I was manipulating the position a bit, where I raised my stop loss higher into profit for a minimum guaranteed gain of 68%, where I was closing 5% or 20% and so on, and where I closed the remainder of my position at 200% profit as well. Absolutely phenomenal performance. VIP right now is actually more than 50% off, and so you're getting a huge offer right there. It isn't, you can just pause the screen to read this. It's more than half price off, and every single membership that you can buy with VIP right now is going to give you free time on top of that. So not only are you getting one of our biggest discounts that we've ever run, you're getting even more free time on top of that as well when you reach out to join VIP today. So you can pause the video right here, follow these steps on screen. All you got to do is click on the first link in the description down below. That's going to take you to my free Telegram channel, where I'm giving you even more analysis on these markets around the clock from myself and my team. That's completely free, by the way. And then once you get in there, click on my name and then click send message to ask me how to join. Very quick, super easy, super straightforward. It's exactly like you're seeing it on screen. Just click on where the red boxes are and then ask me how to join, and we'll get you inside. Huge offer, free time as well. Definitely take advantage of it. if you're excited in these markets to be ripping profits as we have been inside of 𝗬𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗓 VIP. So like I said right here with these support levels, you know, I'm really not too worried about it yet. You know, if this thing does manage to recover up now, I think that it's going to be able to sweep these highs really well. You know, it's precisely downturns like this that enable the market to sweep highs, and I think that's really, really important. Now, you know, if we do manage to sweep these highs, I mean, I wasn't really, 48 was an area that we were expecting resistance, but it's not the main one for me. The main area that I was really expecting to find resistance was going to be those kind of low $50,000 areas, 51, 52, 53,000, those kind of areas. And I think that the market should be able to just sweep right past 48 all the way up to the next major areas of resistance. But of course, that is if we manage to bounce. And there's a few more things here that unfortunately they don't look too good to me. So I want to break this down for you. One of the first ones right here on the 4-hour time frame is that we are right at the bottom of the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. Now, this isn't the most reliable indicator in the world, but in my opinion, on this time frame, it's worth paying attention to, right? From my experience of trading these markets now for 5 years, the Ichimoku cloud, which I learned like 4 years and 10 months ago. So most of my time being a trader, I've been using this indicator as one of my favorites. The 4-hour time frame is important. It's not the most important, but it's important. And if we lose support right here, look, I mean, I just don't like that picture because see, each time we drop, you know, I go back to this analogy of like being bullish or bearish as a slider, right? And so if you're bullish over here and bearish over here, we just keep moving closer and closer to the bearish side the more time we lose support levels. So for example, in the 1-hour time frame, we already lost this Ichimoku cloud right here. On the 4-hour time frame, we're about to lose another one. You know, there's various indicators in between that have been used successfully and that have failed us. And right now, we failed the 4-hour EMA ribbon as well. You can see we're kind of moving closer and closer towards that bullish, that bearish side, but daily time frame, we're still holding on to support. I think this is the point of this video right here, is that we're at a very critical level, and fuck me, I know I say this all the time, I'm a YouTuber, right? I mean, there's got to be a bit of drama, a bit of spice, and you know, and so on in these videos. I just got to play the game. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, this is free content. It's gonna happen, right? But at the end of the day, this I do believe is a very critical level, and the reason I'm saying that is because if we look at where the support ends on a lot of these time frames, the daily EMA ribbon, the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud right here, my horizontal levels on this chart, it all lines up with the same signs right here, showing us that if we lose this level, we're in a bad place. And unfortunately, volume is not giving me more confidence towards the bullish side either. You know, I mean, if we make these bars a little bit more clear to see, take a look at what's going on right here, where we had a huge increase in sell volume when we penetrated below that $44,000 level towards 43, and since then we've tapered off and we are forming a very typical continuation pattern. You know, this is where I want to bring us back to the textbooks almost, and just kind of show you guys what these patterns generally look like, because what we have right now is a situation where the market trends down and then it forms a separate, you know, kind of rising wedge pattern, and then it trends down again, and the next rising wedge, if we form one, it doesn't have to be big, right? We don't have to form necessarily very large patterns like this. It can be much smaller, but the end result is we end up moving down and we form, you know, what I call these kind of staircase patterns. And I just say staircase to make it simple and easy to visualize, but at the end of the day, what you have here is the trend is moving, then the trend is consolidating, or we call it continuation patterns, then the trend is moving, then we have a continuation pattern, and then it's moving again. And you know what I want to draw your attention to now on this chart is how we're kind of forming the same thing. Let me just you know, bring all this into perspective. You can kind of see how, you know, we're trending, we're kind of fighting that a little bit, moving down, fighting that a little bit, although again, this doesn't need to take as long as the last one took, right? It can be a lot quicker, you know, potentially indicating that we move down again. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not really giving me much faith, along with the fact that the volume isn't really supporting the bullish side either. Really, all I'm seeing right here are we've got good support. We've failed our strongest support, which is 44 to 46 in my opinion. We have failed that, and that's quite significant, because if we take a look at, you know, how the market interacted with these levels before, I'm actually going to have to draw another box here from 46 down to like 44. This box, and I suppose I don't like making these boxes too big, but ideally it does need to stretch up a little bit. It's just this brighter yellow area. See, this was the main area for the market to find support, in my opinion, precisely because we found so much resistance here already, right? And so I would have liked to see that it acted as support, and it did originally. This is what I was predicting. We did get that bounce. Ethereum kept rallying higher from that bounce, right? When Ethereum got its respective bounce off this area, look, it set a brand new high, right? So that's something that I was expecting, and that's why, by the way, I closed my position when I did. I was able to see this pullback coming. I made a 52-minute VIP breakdown video breaking down absolutely everything on the screen right here. It was a lot. I know you're just seeing numbers and a bunch of arrows and it almost looks a little bit too complicated, but 52 minutes to break down absolutely every single nitty-gritty detail, including the psychological warfare that was going on in my mind during that trade. Because fuck me, again, I'm a normal human trader, right? Like, I have the same issues that everyone else deals with. I'm just showing you how I'm dealing with it in real time inside of VIP, and then in hindsight as well, so we can learn from these experiences. Again, more than half price off, and depending on which plan you take, you're going to be getting free access into our 𝗪𝗪𝗘 Academy courses, where I'm teaching you absolutely everything I know about trading and analysis from A to Z. Absolutely no stones left unturned, so you can do absolutely everything the same way I do it. I'm literally giving you my trading style and then showing you how I do it as well, all inside of that course and VIP combo. So if that sounds like a good deal to you, you're getting free time, getting a huge discount, one of the biggest we've ever run, then again, follow these steps on screen. Yearly members, by the way, just to remind you guys, you get free phone calls with me as well, which have been incredibly useful for our yearly members, and of course also free access into our Advanced Academy course, which costs $2,700 roughly. So definitely take advantage of that if you're interested. But right there, you know, like I said, that I know this is Ethereum, but I would have expected this area to act as better support for Bitcoin, and you know, the fact that it didn't is somewhat concerning to me, and that's why I said that I think we have lost our strongest area of support, but we do still have support, right? And it's not a good sign that we've penetrated this low for sure, but we do still have it. My issue here is that it just feels like, even though we do have support, this kind of momentum is quite strong. Again, it's almost like it's like a tug of war battle right now, because I almost can't make up my mind as well. I am still leaning more to the bullish side, and it's because of signs like this. It's because I'm seeing this fear and greed index drop. You know, it's because if these next 4.5 hours move and there's no particularly eventful price action, I'm going to be coming back to this. And if I see that the fear and greed index has dropped even lower, and it probably will, because when this refreshed and it showed us a reading of 34, that was 20 hours ago. That was 19 hours ago, right? And if we actually stretch back what happened 19 hours ago, the price was a fair bit higher, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check this so I'm not talking out of my ass. 19 hours ago, no, it was actually roughly where we are right now, so it's probably going to be somewhere similar. I have to expect that it's going to be lower because we're consolidating at support, and generally people become most bearish at support, they become most bullish at resistance. Again, that's why I had the initiative to close the Ethereum trade where I did and to open the trade where I did. Again, I know you can't see the price numbers here, but this was the absolute low that Ethereum set before it took this rocket ship upwards, and so to be able to enter right at the bottom and exit right at the top, it is incredibly impressive, and it is just the result of, you know, the same system that I'm using and refining just being applied in healthy ways in the market. And again, if you want to see how I'm pulling that off in real time, I've already got my next couple trades that I'm eyeing up, which I will I don't know if I've already shared details of it in VIP. I actually can't remember, but if I haven't, that'll go into VIP right after this. And so yes, definitely something that looks exciting within this market, you know, because it's this kind of turbulence, which is this kind of uncertainty, which really makes people, you know, do quite stupid things with their money. And obviously it's not nice if you're on the stupid side of it, but if you're not, you know, that is exactly what feeds into your profits in these markets, right? And so that's why I want you guys to be very, very aware of these, you know, situations, you know, and also another thing I want to point out is that, you know, I showed you that kind of staircase pattern, right, where I showed you that, you know, we kind of trend down, fight the trend a little bit, trend down again. Well, we do that, you know, we can have a very large pattern like this, and then inside of that pattern we can have a smaller kind of staircase pattern down, something a little bit like this, right? And then we can continue the larger pattern. And I think this is a whole other, you know, kind of dimension of the analysis, which I think is very relevant right now, because I think the market could even be in something like that right now, right? Where I think we're looking at a situation here potentially where the market has moved up, it's forming a really nice retracement, but within this retracement, it's got its kind of continuation patterns, right? So it can definitely move down a little bit more, but then eventually the trend kind of picks back up. And I think that, you know, we still have a good probability of doing that. And I wouldn't be saying these things if the fear and greed index was wasn't where it is, but just precisely the fact that it's come under my target of 35. And I said, if it's anywhere below 35, that's going to be a really good sign. To me, that's just showing me people are getting scared really quickly again. People are losing faith again. And where are they losing faith? To remind you, they're losing faith at resistance level. I'm sorry, at support levels. And that's just the most typical thing that happens in this market. And you know me, I'm not going to ignore that. I'm trying to stay a sensible, sane, rational trader. And from what I'm seeing right now with this short-term analysis, it looks pretty good to me. The other thing that I found really powerful is actually just looking at charts like Cardano right here. I know this isn't something to base my analysis off, but it is still something that caught my eye, where I noticed that this $1 area with this green box is, you know, has been critical support for Cardano all the way back to February of 2021. So now 14 months ago, we did fail it and we did test it as resistance, which was a beautiful test. I was talking about how the $1 area would be a good short for Cardano, and my God, it would have been a ridiculous profit right there. So shout out to those of you who did manage to trade that. You know, it is now back at the support level, and I just feel like a support level like this can't be broken very easily, you know. And I know, again, this is Cardano, it's not the same thing, and it's very much gonna, you know, move at the, you know, it's going to be at the whim, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's going to be at the mercy of Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, Cardano is probably going to do worse until the market turns bullish again, you know, very bullish, where it's obvious, and then Cardano will outperform everything again. But for now, yeah, I mean, I just don't see support levels like this breaking. I'm seeing a somewhat similar trend across other markets. Ethereum, for example, also hasn't lost its support area. And interestingly, it's actually started to gain a little bit against Bitcoin as well, which, you know, I mean, is a sign that people, even when this market is turning down a little bit, the money is flowing into riskier assets right now. And I think that's something quite important to keep in mind. You know, people don't even think about this stuff, but if people are moving their funds from Bitcoin, the safest crypto, into Ethereum, the second safest but much riskier crypto, well, then that tells you something about the risk profile that some traders might be willing to take. And I don't want to read too much into it, because it's not actually a big move, and there is still resistance right up ahead, right? So it's not something that you can really read into too much. But at the end of the day, the bottom line here is that money is flowing into altcoins a little bit more than I would have expected right now. And I think that is a good sign for, again, just the health and optimism of the market, the underlying health and optimism of the market right here. Nothing much to say about coins like Phantom at the moment. It's just in a pretty bad place, actually. Found resistance exactly where I was predicting on a recent live stream. So that was very, very cool. Guys, smash up the likes if you're finding this analysis useful. We've been on point in this market. Look at that. We hit that 0.5 Fibonacci level on Solana. Let's take a look at Luna. I haven't seen Luna for a while. Guys, if you're finding this analysis useful, if you enjoy this content, it means so much to me with your support. This is a long. This is beautiful. This is probably one of the most obvious longs I've seen in a while. Yeah, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. The only issue with trading this, and it's a big issue, is that there's absolutely nowhere nice to put a stop loss. It's just such a risky chart. I would like to have an entry at this yellow line, which is bang on $100, maybe 101. But I would want my stop loss ideally below this swing, below this little move right here. I want my stop loss below that, but that's 12% lower, maybe more. So yeah, I mean, that doesn't really allow for much leverage. The next best stop loss would probably be right below this area right here, right below this wick. That's a 3% stop loss. That's something to work with, but obviously the probability of getting stopped out on something like that is quite high. I quite like it though. It has really caught my eye. Again, though, I do feel like it's again at the mercy of Bitcoin. You know, if Bitcoin does manage to rise from here, well, yeah, I would expect this to fly up. I think it should be fairly easy to gain another kind of, you know, 17% up to that $120 level. Leverage that up even 3 times, 5 times. That's a pretty impressive gain very quickly. But if Bitcoin keeps dropping, I don't think any of these coins are moving, and you'd lose a lot of money on them. So it is a very delicate balancing act, and it is another question that I am considering. And of course, as usual, you guys already know the deal. I'll be sharing those details inside of VIP. Again, a collection of very impressive profits. This guy paid off his yearly subscription within less than a day of joining. Super impressive stuff right there. If you want to jump inside, follow these steps on screen. If you want to trade on the same platform that I'm using, I'm always using Bybit. Check it out with the link in the description down below, and you're going to get free money deposited into your account. Their liquidity is huge. Look at that, 16 billion. That's billion with a B, $16 billion traded in the last 24 hours. Absolutely bloody enormous. So definitely, and in a bear market, right? Like, they're doing really well. This is the platform to be on, in my opinion. If you're not already on, I don't know what you're doing. Make an account, get your free money, and then decide if you want to use the platform from there. You're definitely not gonna want anything else. And the way you do that is by following the link in the description down below. One final time, more than half price off, and every plan has free time added onto it on top, which you don't even pay for. We just give it to you free of charge. So if that sounds like a good deal to you, if you want to find out what you've been missing out on, get the whole list of benefits, because I don't even scratch the surface. There's like 10 bullet points of benefits, and I only talk about like 2 of them in these videos. Then you can again reach out by following these steps on screen. First link in the description down below, @4flights button, send message. These 3 red boxes are all you need. It's a very quick process, totally painless, no downloads, no signups, and then you can you'll know what the deal is. All right, hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.